I love the E-Revo. Yeah, this is one of my favorites because it doesn't break that much. Yeah. It's always like the last one standing.
Yeah, it's a good jumper too.
Yeah, that's why I like it. Yeah. I love the E-Revo.
I have a Revo.
Hey, what is up guys? This is Chris and I'm back with more Everyday RC and my Traxxas E-Revo that I like to call the Blue Beast because you can tell that I went crazy with the blue theme on this truck and it's become a very popular truck on my channel, and a lot of people ask me tons of questions about the upgrades and the blue parts that I've put onto this vehicle, and it's extremely durable and it's one of my favorite monster trucks to drive. And that footage that you just watched at the beginning of the video was taken back in October of 2015 at the last bash event that I drove this vehicle at, and everything was going pretty well. I love how the truck jumps. It's always, you know, a great jumper and it's very durable. Like I said, it's always the last man standing. I can always count on my E-Revo to keep me going through the rest of the day. But as you can tell, I hit a pothole there and it took a pretty hard hit. I didn't think much of it at the time, but after every bash event, it's always good to break down your vehicle, make sure that everything is working properly, and of course, you know I like my vehicles to look very, very good and very clean, but I also like to use them as well. So this has a lot of irreplaceable parts and it looks really nice, and it could be a shelf queen, but you know the way that I roll, I'm always out there using them. So I was cleaning this down and making sure everything was working right, and I discovered a broken part, guys. When I hit that pothole, I actually broke my rear bulkhead, and after cleaning the truck off, blowing it off with the air compressor and going over everything, I noticed a hairline crack here on the rear bulkhead. Now let's see if I can get you in on that. You see that hairline crack right there? Which is typically broke on the E-Revos. I've also broke it on my Revo 3.3 Nitro. I've either broken front bulkheads or rear bulkheads from hard landings, and as you can see, unfortunately, my aluminum rear skid plate got bent a little bit in the process as well. But that's not an issue. I can bend that back, no problem at all. And that's what that skid plate is there for. It's to absorb the impact. And honestly, I think if I had the plastic skid plate on there, I think that that crack would have been a lot worse. And it was good that I stopped running the vehicle when I did. But you can tell that it's definitely a beauty. And right there, you're looking at one of the biggest parts that people ask me about is the RC Solutions roll cage. Now, I'm sorry to break the news to you guys at the time of this filming that RC Solutions roll cage is no longer available. Unfortunately, RC Solutions went out of business and they no longer manufacture this roll cage. and it's upsetting because I would have liked to have an extra one in my hands as well. With an extensive search on the web, you can find them. They're very hard to find. You might be able to find some used on eBay, and there are some UK-based companies that still sell them on their websites, but you have to look very, very carefully. They made these in 3 colors. They made them in black, silver, and blue. The blue is very, very uncommon. You might be able to find the black or the silver, but you have to look very carefully, and make sure you do not pick up the one for the nitro, because that's a completely different setup. So make sure it says RC Solutions roll cage for the Traxxas E-Revo, and I believe the part number is RC157. Good luck to you if you could find it, and it is an awesome roll cage. When they were in their prime, they had a picture of a pickup truck, a life-size, I believe, a Chevy Silverado, and it was able to drive right over this because this bolts to the bottom of your chassis. So you can see the points where the roll cage actually bolts to the bottom of your chassis. So if you actually drove over this with your pickup truck, I could actually stand on this. And that's how strong that roll cage is. That twin vertical setup that they have right there. And that's always a very strong setup. But I have some work ahead of me. I'm going to break this down. I'm going to replace the rear bulkhead. Here's the part number. I know that there are aluminum bulkheads out there, and I know a few people are probably going to say, why don't you go aluminum? But they're extremely expensive. And honestly, some parts I like to keep stock. I like to keep some parts plastic because I want them to flex a little bit. And I think that it's an inexpensive repair. My local hobby shop had these, and I was able to pick this up, and I can make the repair as soon as possible and get this truck up and running and 100% ready to go. Now, I did buy some new shoes recently on Nitro RCX, so I did pick up 2 sets of monster truck tires. Now these I picked up, I think they would match this really, really well with the blue theme. But like I said, the E-Revo does a lot better with smaller diameter tires. These are the PROLINE Badlands, which I highly suggest. If you run an E-Revo, these are the tires that you're going to want to run. But as you can see, mine are very well abused, and I've re-glued mine a few times here. So it was time for some new kicks. But I wanted to mess around with these Nitro RCX. They are made by Exceed RC. So these are monster truck tires that are commonly found on Exceed vehicles, Exceed monster trucks. But for the price, guys, you can't go wrong with at least trying these out. These monster truck tires were $10 a pair. Okay, that was just unbelievable for the quality that they are. They're very, very high quality. The rubber is very stiff, and I believe these are probably going to be the tires that I'm going to go for on here because they're very similar in the size to the Badlands, and I think they're low mass, and the rubber on these seem a lot tighter. They don't seem like they're going to balloon as much. So I think I'm going to go with these, and like I said, I'm calling this the Blue Beast. So there's nothing better than those claws on that tire. So that's what I've got going on right now. I got some work ahead of me, so let me start working on this rear bulkhead. Maybe I'll show you the progress halfway through, and then I'll show you the finished product. Alright, here we are halfway through the repair. Really not bad at all. Comes apart very quickly, unless I'm just so used to working on this truck. I've had this truck for about 8 years now, and it was my first electric monster truck, so I'm very used to working on this vehicle. And even though with the RC Solutions roll cage on there, it comes apart very easily. Really all you have to do is remove your whole rear bumper assembly, bumper wing assembly, 3 screws, and then you got your 2 screws on either side. Disconnect the roll cage. You're going to take the left and right rear A-arm assemblies off, shocks off, and then you can slide the whole rear bulkhead out. And then as you can see, pretty well broke. So, oh yeah. So let me get the new bulkhead in place, and we'll finish this repair up. Alright, be right back. Okay, the repair is all finished and the Traxxas E-Revo Blue Beast is back up and running. The repair wasn't that bad at all, took me about 45 minutes to complete. And as you can see, I swapped out the old bulkhead. There was the half that was cracked. And everything is back to 100%. I'm really happy with these Nitro RCX tires as well. Check out the part number, you go over there. They're made for Exceed monster trucks, but there's the part number if you need it. They're 1/8 scale monster truck tires, and I'm really happy with how these look. And for those of you that aren't familiar with my Blue Beast here, I'll just run over some of the parts and some of the upgrades that I've done to it as thus far. Now, I did dye the gray chassis blue, so that's the royal blue chassis and rocker arms that I dyed with royal blue RIT dye. The whole thing is RPM'd out. Axle carriers, as you can tell, the A-arms. I also have the front and rear RPM blue bumpers. Of course, I have the blue RC Solutions roll cage. I have the blue INTEGY 25-pound springs with aluminum preload retainers on there. I'm not exactly sure who makes those aluminum preload spacers, but you can do a search on eBay for those. I also have the Hot Racing front and rear aluminum shock mounts. As you can see, the Hot Racing front and rear blue aluminum shock mounts. I have the Lunsford titanium rocker posts, which that's a cool upgrade that I suggest that you do. It eliminates that 2.5 millimeter hex screw, and it's a titanium rocker post with, I believe, a 5/16 lock nut, and that works really good and it's very strong. Have never had any problems with that at all. And then I have the INTEGY, which is an awesome upgrade, the INTEGY blue aluminum skid plate. Isn't that a thing of beauty? Especially with all the stainless steel hardware. The truck has been done with a full stainless steel screw kit by RC Raven, but that is the INTEGY blue center skid plate, and this is the Hot Racing rear skid plate, which I bent back and didn't take too much abuse. I was able to bend that back pretty easily, so that was pretty cool. And then I have the Traxxas steel center drive shafts. I have the Traxxas red aluminum push rods and turnbuckles in the rear. And I have the Traxxas blue aluminum wheelie bar wheels. I'm running the PROLINE SLIPSTREAM body, which I love this body for the E-Revo. It is super durable. This was a custom paint job done by myself a bunch of years ago, and the body has held up remarkably, and I really haven't had to change it out, although I would like to upgrade the body, put a new paint job, just something that matches this amazing truck a little bit better. And that was a real basher body, so I'd like to put something on here that really looks nice and more of a show body. But that's it for now, guys. I just wanted to show you that quick repair that I did, and I know I've been getting tons of questions on my Traxxas E-Revo, so hopefully this answered most of your questions. And that's my Traxxas E-Revo as it sits right now, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you're all making it happen in your RC worlds. And for now, this is Chris the Everyday RC Guy saying thanks for watching. And real quick before I go, guys, I forgot to mention that it was my good friend Keith Turner who turned me on to these wheels. He's the one that told me to go check out Nitro RCX and check out their 8th scale monster truck selection. So I want to thank Keith, and he also has a YouTube channel, Bulletproof RC. So go check him out. He's got a lot of good information on his channel, and he's got some pretty sick vehicles, and he's currently in the process of building the 1/10 Yeti, and he's making it bulletproof as he does to all his vehicles. So I want to thank you, Keith, and I'm gonna let you guys choose what you think looks better, these claw tires or the blue alloy. Alright guys, thanks for watching.